Where to begin with this feud between Donald Trump and the family of a fallen U.S. soldier? I say let's just bring in the panel because we have a lot to discuss. Susan Del Percio, Republican strategist who worked in the Rudy Giuliani administration here in New York City. Peter Beinart, CNN political commentator and contributing editor to The Atlantic. Carl Higbie, spokesman for the Great America Political Action Committee, Donald Trump supporter and a Navy SEAL, and CNN politics reporter M.J. Lee. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We have all seen the sound bites, we've all seen the tweets, we've all seen the interviews. Carl, you're a Navy SEAL, you have served this country. Do you like the direction Donald Trump is taking this conversation with Mr. Kahn and Mrs. Kahn?
I'm okay with it. And I think here's something I would say to Mr. Kahn is that you have been a pawn, and he's been used by the Democratic Party and by a political party that generally doesn't care about the military veteran.
How is he a pawn?
Well, I think that they brought him up there. I mean, look, there's been less than a dozen Muslim U.S. service members killed. There's been over 4,000 non-Muslim U.S. service members killed. They couldn't find one non-Muslim U.S. service member. They had to use the one Muslim family they could find. I'm not okay with that.
But to be clear, both conventions had grieving family members on the stage. So are you saying both parties are using people as political pawns?
No,
John Smith's mother, Pat Smith, spoke on the Republican convention stage very strongly against Hillary Clinton. You saying they're both using people as political
I think
pawns?
that they found the one Muslim family they could find. Why not grab any of the other 4,000 families? It had to be a Muslim family to throw it right back and try to get Donald Trump to take some...
Go ahead,
Peter. That was the whole point. I think it was part of the point was this was also a family that immigrated to the United States, and that they were very proud that their son was able to serve the country that they immigrated to, and that was another part of it. It wasn't. I mean, yes, but they probably did it hurt that they were Muslim? Probably no, from the DNC standpoint. But it was an issue on, they wanted to show an immigration issue, but more importantly, what was Donald Trump thinking going after a Gold Star family? That's what my issue is that, leaders get criticized, but how they handle that criticism is what you really, you can tell their mettle from that. And Donald Trump could have just simply taken the high road, like Barack Obama, like President Bush, like so many other public servants. You simply take the high road because as a leader, you don't want to inflame someone's pain. Or as a leader, you just say, you know what, this is not a fight. I don't need to punch back at a grieving family. It makes sense on an emotional level. It makes sense on a political level. So that's the problem when you look at a leader and how they handle this kind of thing.
And why was there a Muslim American on stage at the Democratic National Convention? Because Donald Trump has said in the past that he wants to ban Muslims from entering the country. What he said exactly is that if that were the case, if that policy were to go into effect, then my son never would have been in this country and he never would have served in the military.
How does Donald Trump, and I've always had a very hard time having this discussion because you are talking about grieving families, and it makes me very uncomfortable when you question the motive of someone who takes the stage to speak about anything. How does Donald Trump win by taking on a Gold Star family? And for our viewers, a Gold Star family, that's the name that we give to families of fallen soldiers. That's what we
One of the things is Donald Trump has never failed to swing back at somebody. If you use your son as a political talking point and step on stage, expect to get hit back, just like Hillary Clinton hit back at the Benghazi victim.
Peter, isn't that what a leader does sometimes? They hold back?
That's his value system. That's his moral perspective. That anybody who criticizes me, no matter on what terms, no matter for what reason, I'm just going to slap back at them. I mean, that's the logic of the kindergarten. Let's put this in context.
No, that's the logic of a leader.
You may think it's the logic of a leader. It may be the logic of certain kind of leaders, but thank God, not the kind of leaders we've traditionally been led by.
The kind of leader that we need to take over.
Why don't you let me finish, Carl? This is a man who's running a fundamentally racist campaign.
Oh, really?
And don't interrupt me, please. I didn't interrupt you.
Go ahead, Peter.
When you say that you are going to ban an entire religion from entering the United States, that is a level of bigotry that we have not seen from a major party nominee in my lifetime. The Democratic Party put a man up there, a Muslim, to refute the idea that Muslims are not patriotic Americans, because Donald Trump has smeared Muslims again and again. Remember how he said that Muslims were cheering 9/11 even though there was no evidence for that? It was entirely... You may think so, Carl, but almost nobody who's not paid to think so thinks so. Journalists don't think so. And so then, that's why you had a Muslim up there, because Donald Trump is running a campaign against questioning the loyalty and integrity and decency of American Muslims in a way that I think should make us all very, very worried.
I am surprised. I understand your support for Donald Trump, and there are arguments. I mean, absolutely understand your position, and you argue it well, but I'm very surprised to hear, as a Navy SEAL, you're comfortable with any leader disparaging the family of someone who was killed serving this country. I mean, Gold Star families, some of them put together a letter and sent it to Donald Trump, an open letter to him, and it's pretty damning. Your comments are personally offensive to us. You question a mother's pain by implying that her religion, not her grief, kept her from addressing an arena of people. You are attacking us when you do that. When you say your job building buildings is akin to our sacrifice, you are attacking our sacrifice. You're not just attacking us, you are cheapening the sacrifice made by those who lost. I don't know how taking on these people helps your cause.
Well, here's the thing, is there's no doubt that the Democratic Party teed this one up for Donald Trump, and he kicked a field goal with it. But the fact of the matter is if you step onto the political platform and use your son's death, and I'll say, like, look, the Kahns, they did not make a sacrifice. They endured a tragedy. Their son made a sacrifice. So when their son honorably served as a Muslim and protected American lives, he did make a sacrifice. But you can't say as a parent, if you're going to step out there in the political arena, especially against someone like Donald Trump, and you hit him based on your son's death, he's going to hit back.
Why then, what about Pat Smith being on the Republican stage?
If she's out there, she's willing to take the criticism, but she's a strong fighter. And you know what? I support her being out there, too. If Mr. Kahn wants to get out there, fine, but don't expect to not get hit back.
Is that a legitimate criticism?
Look, Donald Trump has the right to hit back. I don't think anyone's questioning his right. The question is, what's the moral system that's guiding all of this? What kind of morals? No, what kind of moral system leads you, first of all, to respond to the threat of terrorism by saying you're going to not allow any Muslims into the country, and then to continue to smear the loyalty and patriotism of America? And then when a man responds by talking about his own son dying, you then say, oh, his wife wasn't allowed to speak because she's a Muslim. Another smear against Muslims.
MJ, I need to get a final thought from you. Americans should care about political debate. Or is this going to move voters? What is your reporting?
So I spent the entire weekend in Pennsylvania and Ohio with Hillary Clinton on her bus tour. I spoke to Democrats, Republicans, and independents who all showed up to her rallies. And I asked them, is everything that's happening, everything that's in the news, making you rethink Donald Trump and supporting Donald Trump? Do you have Republican friends and family members who are rethinking supporting Donald Trump? And almost to a T, every single person I asked that question to said, yes, I know Republicans who are rethinking their support for Donald Trump and are not sure what to do because they don't really want to support Hillary Clinton either, because these days he's saying things that make him come off as sort of not on the level and a little bit volatile. And I think
that makes Donald Trump's next hours and 24 hours extremely important. We're going to continue the conversation. We'll be right back after the break.
Thank you.